This is the Guilty Gear Strive portion of today's proceedings, coming at you from the BostonBlueBeat offline monthly. I am Brad Muse. Joining me is LaserGician. How are you enjoying today so
I'm
far?
doing good. It's a lovely day outside here in Boston that I am thrilled to ignore and stay inside and play video games.
See, I was going to be like, agree to disagree, because I am turning into a puddle out there. You call me the Wicked Witch of the West. I go out there, I'm melting.
You know, that's fair.
That's just where it ends.
It's interesting, though, because Melty Blood isn't for another couple hours.
That's true. And it's not my blood that's melting, it's my skin.
Okay, that's good. That would be a real danger.
Real problematic.
Yeah.
The blood needs to stay firmly where it is. It's already in liquid form. You can't melt a liquid.
Can you? If you can, let us know in the chat. That would be interesting. Science community would love to hear about that. In the meantime, I've been, kind of palling around down in the pit during the open bracket before, seen a couple things that are interesting to me. One, if you didn't know, the Boston scene is really heavy on Potemkin. A lot of good Potemkin players that I saw out there. Interestingly, I don't know that many of them made top 8 this time, though. I need to double-check the bracket, but from what I remember last time we were here, plenty of high-power Potemkin play. The other thing that I saw, lots and lots of Shoto representation. A lot of Kai, which we come to expect. LuckyD gets in top 8 pretty frequently. He's a Kai player. A lot of Souls. I think there were at least 1 or 2 that made top 8, if I remember.
No, I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
We're actually, speaking of top 8, I was going to speak to the top 8 that we already have, but we're hitting you with the last match to decide the 4th person in the winner side of top 8. Aerodad versus Merkilo, already sitting down. They were actually waiting on us.
Oh, wow.
But also up there in the winner's side of top 8, Kenny versus LuckyD, who have already played. Kenny took that match, and Kenny is waiting in winner's finals already. LuckyD drops down. The winner of this match plays PartyTime in the other of the winner's side top 8 match. Aerodad, I'm sorry, does that say Hardbodies?
That's Merkilo and Hardbodies.
You lied to me.
I think that's probably someone who shall remain nameless until at the end of the day we can berate them mercilessly.
Yeah, we'll talk trash off stream. But Merkilo representing the Giovanna that we've seen represented for a while. The stagger pressure already working out too great. Hardbodies getting a little bit hard-bodied, not respecting the down back, does not find the anti-air. Oh, I like using the red RC for the burst bait, but wisely Hardbodies does not waste the burst in that situation.
Yeah, very convincing first round. Keeping that burst for round 2 is a very wise move. You've got so much work to do to make up that round that spending the burst is a meaningless expenditure. Round 2 already much more even, but we are seeing Merkilo get that corner pressure once again.
Yeah, I love that burst coming out there that time from Hardbodies, stopping that first hit in the corner, but this is going to be big damage right into the super. That's going to be the wall break as well. This is roughly a one-touch situation. Well, no, depends on the hit, I suppose.
Yeah, that 6K series out of Giovanna gets so much wall carry that just that into the super gets a very easy wall break. We got good pressure coming out here, too. Seeing Merkilo get lots and lots of pressure. Jump-ins, overhead on the cross-up is going to land. RC doesn't quite get there. And that is going to be the round taken out. 2-0, Merkilo in this first game. Pretty convincing, too. There was definitely signs of life out of Hardbody.
Yeah.
Not discounted at all.
I think one of the things that I would love to see from Hardbodies, Merkilo is getting instant IAD into cross-up a lot that Hardbodies is not blocking. But in that first round, Merkilo did it to get out of the corner, and he's making certain decisions specifically to change position for screen positioning reasons. And that's the type of thing that when you're playing against a player who is as experienced as Merkilo is, you need to understand that their decision-making is multi-layered. That DP with punish, we're going to get the wall break with the super. Actually, with minimum scaling, you're probably dead. Yes, you are.
Blowing up off of a DP, that doesn't land, a time-honored tradition in the FGC. Seeing it once again after we saw it a couple times back in the KOF bracket. 6P is going to get a little bit of momentum in Hardbody's favor. Getting the pressure reset. No good challenge from Merkilo, getting the reset pressure of their own.
Goes for the cross-up option. Yeah, you get frame advantage, but Merkilo is making those decisions to manipulate screen position, and Hardbodies just does not seem prepared to deal with it.
I do like we saw Hardbodies there jumping out of the corner pressure. We know Merkilo is a big fan of Giovanna's strike throw vortex when you get to the corner, so getting that fuzzy jump to get out of that situation doesn't matter when it super hits you out of the air. You're getting out into the screen break. It's another game in favor of Merkilo.
Yeah, that's a rougher spot, right? Like, if you want to deal with that air dive kick super, you either need to already be displaced or you need to hard read that stuff with a DP or a 6P of your own. It's really hard to react to it. It moves so fast. We're seeing a little bit more a different approach to the neutral and the stagger pressure coming out from Hardbodies this time. But the 2K check and then the IAD straight out. Hardbodies is not doing anything to dissuade the air movement coming out from Merkilo.
Yeah, Merkilo's challenges have been getting out of the pressure every single time here. They've been very, very successful, very continuously.
Oh, yeah, you're dead. 2 bars on deck. Are we going to make it to the corner? No, just barely not, but we're going to ride the lightning. Oh, it hits? Okay.
As a bar, can't quite convert Alphabet, but does on the chase. Okay, Signs of Life come out of Hardbodies. That's the first one on the board for Hardbodies in this set.
Oh, gets away with, even finds the last hit of it, consumes the shock state.
This should be a pretty clean wall break. There we go. Got a bar, ride the lightning, get that positive bonus. Get that meter expenditure back pretty quickly off of the meter gain bonus from getting that positive. Stagger pressure coming out. Shock state is applied.
I love the little 2P check there after the block string sequence. Finally starting to challenge the way Merkilo is moving forward. Blue RC. Oh, ooh, smart YRC.
Merkilo loves the BRC mix-up. What you can do in that situation, well, let's see how this goes first. Gets the wall carry off the 6 H's. Ventania, going to be a wall break. Is that enough damage? Oh, that doesn't actually connect. The 5D charge going up into the air for the punish. Has to expend the burst. Got baited.
Oh, that was so good. I mean, you knew he had to do it, right? You could not bank on living through that dust combo.
Ooh, okay. We got a set here.
I think the big things were like the change in the structure of the offense, leaving a little bit, like the stagger pressure is a little bit tighter, choosing different spots, and recognizing that they need to challenge Merkilo's forward movement a little bit more.
Yeah, and also we saw a lot more of these 6Ps coming through too.
Yeah.
The 6P is being really, really utilized well here. The way Giovanna can run away with a match when you just get that momentum going is really oppressive. So having a tool like 6P being effectively shutting that down is a huge deal, but the whiff punish coming in from the air, that's going to be a wall break, positive bonus, which Giovanna loves. Reset to neutral. Okay, does get the block throw. Vortex is up here. No, we got the red RC. Is this going to be enough to kill? It will. That is going to be one game away for Merkilo to make it into top 8.
And that's the first throw that we've seen represented from Merkilo in a spot where he's been going for the 2S, which has also been connecting. You know, Hardbodies is not really blocking Merkilo's pressure all that effectively. The rounds that Hardbody won were actually just them being on the offensive much more. Dust gets blocked. We've got the shock state and the red RC. This is going to be big damage here in the corner. We do consume the wall break.
Relatively scaled already. Not a lot of hits left on that combo. Okay,
oh!
A clash into the Dire Clot. Okay, we got fireballs to follow our way in. 5D tap. RC closes out that round. I am loving the 5D usage. This is an adaptation we saw about halfway through the set.
Yeah.
That overhead mix can be really, really hard to react to if you're not looking for it. If you are looking for it, it's like 20 frames, maybe even more. Yeah, it's pretty reactable. But if you're not conditioned into looking for it, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and you called out the stronger utilization of the 6P, which is a great, just a good all-around tool to throw out in neutral to try to buffer with. Oh, the burst actually steals corner position. How are you going to keep this locked down? Merkilo does have burst. Second throw.
Kyle is a grappler.
All this burst safe. YRC gets blocked, but we don't get the punish. I feel like you were far enough away that you should have been able to get away with that. The burst consumed from Merkilo, so we're going all in here. Dive kick whiffs, plus frames. We go for a 2P mash there. That's actually really brave.
Going for safe jumps. 2P
Another 2P
check.
mash.
5. No, that's a 2D. Oh. That button is so big, covers so much space, so hard to approach on that button. Going to be Merkilo going into top 8.
No, so with that being hard-bodied, since we now understand that we were given the incorrect information, that sets up Merkilo versus Aerodat, which is the match that we were told was going to happen.
Ah, that's what it was, yes.
So make sure you tip your bracket runners so that they don't give you incorrect information and then you look like a dingus on stream.
That said, if you do want to tip your bracket runners, I think there's a way we can do that. Head on over to Matcherino in the chat. You can hit !Matcherino. That is a place where you can help donate to that pot. You can also use, there are codes you can claim that contribute 25 cents for absolutely free. Just got to log in. And then a couple other things you can do on there to get some more donations for free if you feel like it. If not, understandable. But please try and support your local scene if you are able to.
And worry not, don't fret. Just because that was the segue we used, that money does go to the players.
That's
it doesn't
true.
go to the bracket
that is
runners.
True.
They work as volunteers, like everyone demands.
All right. Well, it looks like we're setting up for the next game here. In the meantime, though, we do have a couple more events in the pipeline.
We
have an offline, or online monthly, rather. This is the monthly that is offline. We have one of those a month. We also have an online monthly every month. That is going to be next week.
Yes, and if you're thinking even farther ahead, off the back of Extend, BostonBlueBeat Beach episode, the next full long-form event that BostonBlueBeat is putting on is coming at you July 16th of this year. They're heavily encouraging to come out to the weekly the night before, where everyone's going to hang out. The Saturday of will be the tournament, and then they are literally taking a beach trip on Sunday because you can't do a beach episode and not go to the beach.
It just wouldn't be right.
If anime has taught me anything, it's that the beach episode is where you go to the beach and one character has to talk about everything that's happened in the season so far.
I will say, if that's the lesson anime has taught you, I am so thankful you are not paying attention to some of the more degenerate things.
I only watch so much anime.
I feel like that's the right amount to watch.
Like, there's some that I've tried. I've tried Sword Art Online so many times. The show is like dog water. I don't get
So
why
I
people-
watched that show when I had a really bad cold in the middle of college.
Okay.
And so I watched it all in one sitting in this fever dream haze where I couldn't sleep because I couldn't breathe at night.
Okay.
And I will say, somewhere between like ginger ale number 4 and NyQuil dose number 8 on the week, Sword Art Online made a lot of sense.
I've never been 8 NyQuils deep on a show.
No, that was over the week, not on the
you know
one
what?
show.
You know what? I've been in a similar headspace watching Westworld, and I loved that show.
That show was
in that headspace.
You know what else is good, though? Our next matchup is going to be between Docbach and Ab Rogue. Looks like we're just getting a button check really quickly, make sure everything is working as intended. Then, it looks like we should be getting into the game pretty soon. Maybe it's not a button check.
I was going to say, I'm like, this
No,
might not be a button check.
This looks legitimate.
Which would, I imagine, be unfortunate for Docbach. I don't know. Like, when you look at sort of the fundamentals of grappler versus strike-centric character matchups, that's historically not great for the grappler. That being said, Docbach actually, finding the counter hit 2S in the corner here, has the life lead and the advantageous screen position. Yeah, now you're done.
Yeah,
So that's one of the things, like, whenever I see Potemkin on the screen, I start evaluating the matchup like Potemkin is, like, this game's Geef. And it's like, well, no, he's got all the tools.
Yes.
He has armor, he has a movement mechanic, he has all of these things that help him in order to deal with this. Okay, we find the counter hit to start to earn some space of our own, does Abrogue, but you still get smoked by the Mega Fist.
One more hit, that's going to be the round. That was very quick, very convincing.
Stupid McPoop had earned the hell out of that trophy.
Oh, yeah. I will say, though, we did see one interesting thing about Potemkin's pressure structure, which is that in the corner, the pure strike is really spaced. It is capable of being FD'd out, so you can get some space for yourself and then go for counter hits. That was how in that second round there, Abrogue was able to create some space, try and get the zoner thing going. In this case, the gold burst in the PRC is going to make it a little different. Okay, I'm going to see what we can get for Oki here. Burst is expended on both sides. Flick is going to keep some of these projectiles at bay. Not too oppressive one way or the other yet. We do see the grab out of the air.
The Heat Knuckle, no bar to follow up. Abrogue still gets a chance. Blue RC, are you serious? Just back throw.
That's all you had to do.
You Blue RC'd him. His throw was slower.
Okay, jumping out of this throw does finally get a little bit of a read on some of this Potemkin pressure rhythm. Pressure coming out from Abrogue.
There's some optimization problems, I think, with Abrogue. I feel like there's a lot of these errant pokes going out, but I think it feels as though Abrogue is sticking out limbs and not being mindful of what Docbach brings to the table so that he can try to actively play around Docbach's tools
Reversal
and get
coming
what he wants
through.
out of it. That's huge through the Garuda.
Yeah, fights that meaty. Okay, we're going up. We're playing Kyle. We're getting throws. Who's the grappler now? Big buttons, big burst coming through, though.
Needs to spend it, but Docbach's about to have bar and has burst, but we still got smoked on the throw. Well, we go into the next round with burst at the very least.
Yes, there is that advantage. And we are seeing a little bit more comfortable of an approach from Abrog, I believe. It looks like they're getting a little more in the rhythm of fighting the grapplers. That jump timing, pretty good. We've seen that come through a couple times now.
But I feel like I wish we saw more coming out of it. If the jump is specifically reading a command grab, I want to see more coming out of it than just like a JP or a JK into nothing. Getting absolutely obliterated to close out that round. Docbach up 2-0.
Double Garuda into a Potbuster just does so much damage. So we got to see something out of Abrog. What's the adaptation that we're looking for here? I'm thinking, I like your point there on throwing out limbs, but not really ready to capitalize on them. We're seeing a counter hit there that isn't getting converted. And then looking for the jump timing here, doesn't land it. Expected the Garuda. We saw that FD tap trying to make space, went for this throw side of strike throw instead. There it is again.
You're done. Didn't even need to spend the bar.
Just need to guess wrong a couple times, and if pot's in, then you're out.
It's like he's a rubber band grappler. Like, just when you think you're out of range, it's like, I'm not worried about the Potemkin Buster anymore. Like, oh, never mind. Early PRC cancel. I just got absolutely smoked. Abrog playing a little bit more active here, but that slide head making it very difficult for Abrog to try to commit to ground-based
Countered
tools.
on the Garuda. We saw it before, double Garuda into a Potbuster. That's going to be around. No, not quite. Doesn't have the meter, can't get no TG.
Yeah.
The fist in the air. It's going to wrap it up. That was
waved it like he just didn't care.
Not one care at all. That was a very convincing 3-0.
Yeah, so obviously, as like I was just saying, slide head clearly made it difficult there for Abrog to start to try to construct some offense. Even some of the air tools that Abrog was throwing out, like still landing on the slide head after. So it begs the question of like, what should Abrog have done different? I think being more mindful in the defensive choices that they were making was probably a big one, right? Like if you're this type of a character, you need to be playing very mindfully because if the match swings into their favor, it's going to be very tumultuous and a huge momentum swing.
The risk reward is very skewed in that kind of matchup. If you're playing one of these keep away pokey characters, then your risk is pretty high at all times.
Yeah.
And your reward, you have to be, like you were saying, mindful in order to actually see it.
Yeah.
And I think in that match we saw a lot of mind paid toward the risk side, but not a lot paid toward trying to maximize rewards.
Sure. Yeah. And then I just like, if you want to extrapolate further about like what's the answer for slide head, right? Because we saw a lot of like going to the air. Even a lot of up backs were just getting smoked defensively, right? Like you could see that Abrog really wanted to up back in a lot of those situations. That's why at the end there, Docbach got so much like Garuda into 2D and trip guarding. I wonder whether more representation of like command grab from Abrog would have been better because you could have grabbed him through the slide head. And maybe that dissuades slide head enough that it reopens your ground game, and then you have ground-based anti-airs that you can represent to deal with Mega Fist. Maybe it was just like you needed to be more mindful of dissuading this one catch to open up the rest of your game. And I feel like we saw command grab once or twice in the first game.
It's true.
And then it was just never represented from Abrog at all.
Yeah, I also think, I do want to give credit where it's due. We saw a lot of really good armor usage.
Yeah.
Because Axel doesn't have a lot of multi-hits, so
True.
you can't really dissuade armor in any way.
Right, other than the command grab.
Or other than the Whirly-Doo, whose name escapes me. That move can maybe do something, but it's a pretty up-close and personal move, so the range advantage is negated if you're trying to be using that. So, hard to tell.
Yeah. So once again, this is the BostonBlueBeat Guilty Gear Strive offline monthly, and hey, if you like what you're watching, make sure that you keep it tuned to BostonBlueBeat, because while we got the offline action for you today, everybody knows that we still got to be running those online tournaments. We got another online tournament coming at you next weekend, May 21st and 22nd. They are going to be running Plus R on the 21st and BlazBlue CF on the 22nd. And if you want to think way far ahead, if you got some travel plans in your future, BostonBlueBeat Beach episode on July 16th. We're going to be at this venue here at Balance Patch on Com Ave in Boston. We have the venue all Saturday.
Yep.
As we said earlier, they're encouraging people to come out on the Friday as well to enjoy for the weekly. And then on the Sunday, there is a literal FGC beach trip happening.
And you know what I'm excited for about the beach episode? DNF Duel.
That's true.
That game is going to be brand new at the time, going to be the first chance that BBB is going to have to throw an event for DNF Duel. And that game looks sick.
Yeah, I've not had the chance to try it, but I know a lot of people who have tried it are really enjoying it. Also, is going to be, I think, the first big event that BlueBeat is doing for KOF 15. I know we've been running it a fair bit. They're really trying to put some support behind that game. And they want to make sure that people who are excited to go, and especially if you want to put support for that game like KOF, please go to Smash GG and pre-reg. It helps them to plan for everything else. We definitely want to know what to expect. And hey, you know, who knows what comes of it if one of these games really pops up, right? If you hit !Beach in the chat, even more information than what we are hitting you with here will be there on the Smash GG on the other end of that Nightbot, which I see somebody already entered there in the chat, doing all the busy work for you.
Yeah. You know, we don't really like to talk about snow in the middle of summer, but
I would love to talk about snow right now.
I'm going to talk about snowballs, because what happens when a lot of people register for an event, the event's big, it gets attention, you get that snowball rolling, get more people registered, get a better event.
I really wanted to see where that was going. I like where you landed that one.
Yeah.
You're like snowballs. I was like, okay, I'm on board. It's like,
nailed it. All right, we're setting up
Ready
for
for it.
our next match here.
yeah. I see Merkilo is sitting back down. So as I consult the bracket, I am not just looking at my Twitter feed, I promise you. It looks like Merkilo beat Aerodat off stream, which makes this a winner side top 8 match between Merkilo and PartyTime.
All right.
To decide who plays against Kenny in winners finals. And a little bit of update looking down to the loser side of the bracket. Docbach down on one half of loser side top 8, waiting on the winner of Gorgovitch versus Hardbodies. And JMD on the other side, waiting on the winner of Aerodat and Johnny Echo. I love that name.
That's a great name.
Johnny Echo.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're loading up into this game. It's going to be Nagoriyuki versus Giovanna. Now, this is actually a really interesting matchup to me. A lot of pro players have been saying Nagoriyuki is very strong, which, I mean, no one would disagree with that. Very, very strong character, inarguably in like top 5, maybe top 3.
Yeah.
And many people have been saying Giovanna is the way to go. Having a backup character, if your character struggles against Nagoriyuki, Giovanna is a good one to look at.
Yeah. I still think of when watching the Argrevo Strive World Finalists,
Yes.
or NA Finals, I should say, that happened a month or two ago, and I was amazed at, and I feel awful that I forget the Giovanna player's name.
Days, I think.
Yes, played against Hotashi in groups, and I was stunned at how well he did, and I had, like, Gio had not really been on my radar, and it was like, why are people still sleeping on Gio? But great movement, blood pop already from PartyTime. This is not the way that you want to party.
Merkilo couldn't convert, though.
If that 2S into 5H, if you had actually canceled the super, you may have still won.
Yeah. Blood
Are you
again?
serious?
PartyTime's an apt name. Going in on the specials, willing to pop that blood. That is a big drawback. 2 in 1 round is absurd.
I did not expect Andrew WK to be playing in our BostonBlueBeat bracket.
All right, so we're seeing some good zoning.
Oh, I
coming
love that
in.
early 2H. Finds the command grab. That was a pretty transparent
Do it
command
again.
grab. A
Do it
second
again.
one?
Do
All
it
right,
again. No,
Blend
okay.
this man. Blend this man. All right, we're dead on the second hit of the Rekka string. We didn't even need to blend all that much.
No,
we had
okay.
done enough damage.
You know, it's kind of nice seeing someone go absolutely crazy with blood and then go absolutely crazy with throws instead. That's like the round-around mix, right?
All right, command grab again. Are we going to see the second command grab off rip? We are.
Do it
what
again.
did that punish?
The super.
Jeez.
Could be a wall break. Is this enough damage? It's not that scaled.
And, I mean, with the minimum scaling on the wall break itself, yeah,
There
absolutely.
it is.
And so what none of the, wait, that's too perfect. That was a double perfect. After that first round of just back-to-back blood pops. And my favorite part is we've got the command center view just off right for us. And I saw Merkilo's face when the second command grab landed in that round. And there's just this stun of like, okay.
I mean, I guess that's how it's going to be. Ooh, throw punish. Getting reversed on the pressure. 6HOTG bursts out of the corner. Good call. We've seen that PartyTime is really, really oppressive in the corner, getting out of that position. Don't even give them the space to make your day bad.
Clipped by the overhead, goes and spends the red RC to burst bait. It looks like PartyTime is electing to hang on to it. Are we going to... at this point, you're committed to not using it for the whole round. YRC gets punished, but we don't get a whole lot out of it. 2H, how crazy are we going?
Good challenge. Overhead, double overhead. FD making some space. 2H starting things off. No, can't convert quite yet. Spending the blood.
Oh
6HOTG? No.
PartyTime may actually take this. How much are we going to cash out? 2K, 2D on the Clash? PartyTime, this is an apt name, I feel, because PartyTime is just...
He's sending it.
He's sending it. The
Throw
invitations are out.
2H counter hit. Okay, just going for the triple slash on the conversion. 6H OTG. Do the throw. Let me see a throw.
Nice.
There it is.
Oh, my God. At tier 1 blood you're throwing? You're still throwing?
That's the mix. Okay, Gold Burst, Geo loves the meter to work with, especially down around. You have it to spend. You're not going to be able to survive the round without it. Might as well throw it out and get some meter back. Haven't seen the throws coming out of Merkilo yet.
I'm surprised we didn't see a burst or anything out of that spiral arrow. Oh, we actually make it whiff, but the 5S is a little bit too slow. But unfortunately for Merkilo, the autocorrect did not switch the position, so off of that flip kick, perfect amount of space for PartyTime to be able to blow up on punish on the block.
And right at the end there for that finisher, we saw one of the key strengths of Nagoriyuki. He can convert off of any straight hit without much trouble whatsoever. Happening again here, we see full damage conversion off of just a nice little poke. Keeping the corner pressure, spaced out a little bit. Cross up coming out from Merkilo.
That cross-up is absolutely murdering people. No one seems ready for it. And I suppose part of it is you just kind of expect that she's going to stay same side, right? How often is she actually going for the cross-ups? YRC actually manages to steal the screen position as a result of it because Merkilo had committed to going for the cross-up, has to spend the burst to keep himself alive in the corner. And we're at tier 3 blood, but virtually any hit will do it. The dive kick super connects on the side of PartyTime.
It's not wall, though. Manages to get the chase into a knockdown. Looking for a throw here. Haven't seen it yet. OTG does not scale. That is so much damage. One round away for PartyTime.
It's kind of nutty. DP around start into the command dash. You are all the way in this corner, but look at that blood gauge. The command grab needs to come out at some point. Oh no, the 6H. We're actually earning that blood back.
Look at the risk on Merkilo, and he hits a counter hit.
Oh my God, look at that. He was about to pop blood. It was gonna happen.
Meter?
And now you're dead.
Is this going to be enough damage? Wall break is guaranteed.
Look at that!
That was so much damage. Maybe one more touch. No, that's going to do it. That damage is so high, Brad. Brad, what is Nagoriyuki's damage?
That was nutty. That was.
Oh my good God.
The craziest part of that sequence for me was PartyTime was playing so aggressive with the blood, and I kept waiting. I was like, all right. It's gonna pop. It's gonna pop.
But then right when you think it's going to.
He had maybe like 5 or 10 points of blood to spare, and the command grab lands. And it's like, after how command grab heavy it had been, and how that had been the principal way that PartyTime had to manage the blood, after seeing 2 blood pops in one round in game 1, I'm a little bit amazed Merkilo wasn't being more mindful of the command grab.
See, to me, that comes down to fuzzy timings. If you're looking
Sure.
for... Nago's looking for the strike throw. And the primary mix that was coming out from PartyTime there was, are you going to command throw or are you going to go for strikes?
Yeah.
And it does make sense. That's Nagoriyuki's plan. The difference is, though, because Nagoriyuki has that singular characteristic of being able to cancel specials into other specials, when the blood is going down off of just the one command throw, that gives you a lot of freedom to start mixing up with extensions.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really hard to get that fuzzy timing down when Nago has so many options to mix up.
But I think specifically in that moment, like the specific moment I'm calling out, where it's like, if the command grab does not land at this exact moment, then I am popping blood and losing this round. It's like, if ever there was a moment for you to find north on your stick, like, look up to the sky, follow it. Like, you know, you're trapped in the desert, you got your frankincense and myrrh, pick a I don't know, pick a
it's a good one.
Pick a North Star reference.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm going with today.
I like it.
And like, there's your north. You can find it. That's the point where we didn't watch for it.
Yeah.
And it's like you just had to get it one time. But you're absolutely right. The reason for the redundant command grabs after that was absolutely that, like, once one lands, your expectation is like, all right, they get to play. Like, they get to really play. The weighted clothing has come off for a moment.
So one other thing that I think was really noteworthy about that set was Merkilo's dive kicks didn't land. There were a lot of situations there where if the spacing had just been slightly different, if, say, PartyTime had gone for DP instead of Beyblade.
Sure.
Or any of those other small little decisions that you're banking on as Merkilo, that you're taking an educated guess, an educated bet saying, all right, I can escape into the air, and then I can take my turn back, get some damage, get the punish, and start running my game if this lands. Didn't quite work out. And as I was wandering around earlier before the stream started, that was something that I saw Merkilo specifically banking on pretty frequently. And that's completely understandable. That is a very powerful technique if you can get it to work.
Yeah.
But in this case, just didn't quite make it happen.
Yeah, so off the back of that, PartyTime after that W goes up to the winners finals, which does lead into our next match because it looks as though we are going to be bringing you that winners finals. PartyTime sitting back down to play against Kenny, the
Now,
Wunderkind.
Kenny, if you are not aware. So anyone who follows Boston Guilty Gear Strive is aware of Kenny. If you don't, this kid is like, what, 12, 13 years old?
I'm like very not comfortable with the fact that there's someone coming here and winning tournaments that was like barely drawing breath when I played my first fighting game at a tournament. Like, I don't appreciate that, like, someone exists who all of the time that I have been coming to events, like, that is their life.
Yep.
And they're just starting to come out, and here we are.
Yeah, Kenny is stupid good at this game. Gold Lewis player. It manages to get pressure running very consistently, and is to mix up with those Behemoth Typhoons with a plum. That said, though, PartyTime doing this thing already.
One of the things that I was converted on Kenny last month. I had to see it, like really see it, and then I also had to like talk to him after the tournament, right? But one of the big things is no one here was really blowing up his tendency to mash on 2P.
Yeah.
And Kenny believes, you were saying earlier, he's like, I think Gold Lewis 2P is the best regular normal in the game.
That's a claim.
Like, that's what I thought. He's like, it's an Abare tool that's +3. He's like, well, find me another regular normal with this type of Gatling cancel that's +3. And I was like, all right, I don't know that I agree with you, but I see that you've done, like, you have evidence to back up your claim.
Yeah.
And it's something that no one else was really dissuading Kenny from doing. PartyTime is already kind of dissuading it, right? Earlier we saw Beyblade into like a super early 2K. It's like you really need to, you actually have to condition that layer 1 against Kenny.
I love that little choice PartyTime made there. Beyblade in, shimmy back, give Kenny just enough room to hang himself. This reversal is going to land, not going to get the full conversion.
Oh!
No, 2H is going to take it already. That's a game up for PartyTime.
That 2H, we saw what PartyTime using 2H very effectively in the last round, in the last game against Merkilo as well. But I think particularly here against Gold Lewis, it's a big deal. Okay, Kenny is making the switch to the Happy Chaos. He was saying earlier. He said he wanted us to commentate as Happy Chaos.
I'm thrilled. So, okay, there was, I forget who, but someone was visiting Boston from another local scene last month who said, Boston's meta is phenomenal because don't have Ramlethal represented all that much.
Right.
Have a little bit of Leo representation and barely any Happy Chaos. That trifecta of terror isn't really seen very much.
All right.
Kenny took that personally.
He did, and here we are. The party has started, and someone asked me earlier. They were like, "Hey, what do I do against Happy Chaos?" I was like, "Well, you either win at round start, or block for 45 seconds, find the right spot to play the game, and then kill him in 2 touches after."
And Nago has a particularly hard time with this. Not having a dash, only having super jump as an approach tool, which puts you in the air just to get blasted out of the air on that steady aim further away again.
Yeah. I think the thing here is like you need to use Beyblade and Shadow Clone very effectively.
We've also seen a couple times the cool BRC momentum tech, where you can jump in the air, use the drift, and quick cancel that into a special. Not gonna matter here, though. Ooh, didn't quite get the conversion.
No, I think that was just to control the screen. I don't know that, because it was off a burst. He gold bursted, got all the bar, and then it was just like, I'll use it. If it gets hit, then you're dead. If it doesn't, I have frame advantage, and I can reload and do all my stuff. Gets the cross up, closes out the round, but
importantly, round start options here. RPS in favor of
PartyTime. Close slash 2H.
45% off round start.
And finds the command grab. A second command grab comes out, but Kenny wise to it. But look at this life differential already. Catches the backdash with the close slash, and that's the thing. As Happy Chaos, you need those money backdashes. Smoked, is this another perfect?
That it is. Round start RPS, you were talking about it earlier. Let's see it here. Who's going to take advantage from the beginning? All right, jumping back, getting that curse going, keeping the Gorayuki out.
I think we're seeing not a lot of regular shot out of Kenny. It's a lot of ready shot, and I think that's one of the differences that's affording PartyTime the chance to jump. Because I feel like what you very commonly see is free shot, into ready, into charge shot, and then you either reload or you take a moment to recharge your concentration.
Ooh, a rare drop there. Didn't get the reload in time. Couldn't keep the corner infinite pressure. Air to air in favor of PartyTime. Doesn't have a lot of blood to work with left. Okay, coming back down.
Kenny has no bullets. There is nothing to dissuade PartyTime from just going forward. And I think that's, you can see the Happy Chaos is still really fresh. Happy Chaos, an incredibly powerful character right now, because the way his resources work is if you play his resources properly, they cycle into each other so well that he can have crazy uptime. But you need to understand how to do that, and you can see that Kenny doesn't have that fully developed yet. You're sitting on full concentration and no rounds in the chamber, you're doing something wrong with Happy Chaos.
And Happy Chaos can loop the one bullet over and over if you have the execution for it, but that is incredibly demanding, and it's hard to bank on that when you're still a relatively fresh character.
Yeah. No, and that's exactly what I mean, right? Is you can see how fresh it is, because the stuff that makes Happy Chaos very strong is also the stuff that you actually have to invest time to be able to do properly.
All right, cross up coming through, regaining corner pressure.
Went for a shimmy. He
Curse
reapplied
applied.
and we have tons of screen space here. We're playing a little bit more aggro this time as Kenny. Spends the burst, does PartyTime.
There's that BRC. Doesn't quite convert it. Throw on Wake Up, getting screen position back. Trying to keep Nago at bay. Straight hit lands. Doesn't quite convert all the way, though. Do have resources.
Dodges the curse. That's huge. The fact that PartyTime is going to the air so much has not been dissuaded from it and found the right spot to navigate around the curse. If you do not win at round start, your opportunities are when they need to reload more than one shot, when they're out of concentration, or when they need to reapply curse. And that was huge. Found the spot in order to do it, and it's huge. PartyTime. Is the overlay correct? Is PartyTime going to win 3-0 if he takes this next round?
It is correct so far. We had the one gold Lewis that got kind of rocked, then the one Happy Chaos got kind of rocked too. This round was looking good right up until now. We've seen a lot of really good use of the 2S coming out of Kenny, but it's not really converting into anything. Farslash is going to, though. Just in time, he had so much risk built up. Any stray hit from PartyTime would have popped it.
Right, this is huge. Curse is applied.
Keeping him at bay. Does have burst available, doesn't have any meter. Can't try and launch himself. Getting close. Making progress. Okay, Kenny decides jumping is the way to go. Is this conversion from PartyTime, though, gonna be enough? Not quite. Backed off on the Oki pressure. Looking for a throw. BRC. Gold burst brings meter into the equation. Cross up is gonna maybe do it, though, I think. Not quite.
Oh, that feels so bad. You land the gold burst and then die with full bar. It's like if you put your life savings into crypto last week.
Yes, it is. You make that investment only for it all to crumble right in front of you. Okay, we're seeing more screen position in favor of Kenny.
All right.
Sending the super, I can dig it. Get some space for yourself. Get the heart knocked down means you can refill your resources if you want, or in this case, reapply curse. Damage is oppressive. Why wasn't he blocking on Wake Up?
Because he's holding up forward. And I think that's the thing. Kenny is not doing a good enough job to dissuade PartyTime from just super jumping on him. And Happy Chaos absolutely can do that, because there's a reason that you don't see that happening at the high level. Blue RC makes the PRC into 6P whiff, but the command grab comes out. Double dash? Okay. Kenny isn't old enough to have played Mario Kart. Closing out the round. And the game and the set.
That's going to be 3-0 in favor of PartyTime. That Happy Chaos, I liked the switch. I think that was something he really wanted to bring out in bracket, just see how it was going, see how tuned it was. Has room for improvement, but that's why you do it, right? You come out to bracket, you try and get that experience, you see where your areas for improvement are. Now you got something to come on in the coming weeks, try and convert into something even better next time.
Yeah, so pardon me as I refresh the bracket on my cellular device.
We can also see it right here.
Oh, we can, because it's up there on the screen, yeah. PartyTime taking it over Kenny. It looks like we're still waiting on some matches to round out the rest of loser side top 8. But we have Docbach and JMD both waiting on their opponents, and then Merkilo and LuckyD also waiting in the bracket.
Well, I'm going to be up at the... man. Sorry. I had a long commentary session. I'm on the back seat now. Here, you know what? Let me make myself apparent to the world. Bam. Over here.
Oh.
Yeah.
We got the picture over picture.
Yeah. You know, look, it's going to be scuffed as hell. But what I want to say here is that Losers Top 8 is actually happening right now. We're trying to speedrun the bracket a little bit. But Docbach is playing against Gorgovitch, which I could probably put on the stream right now in just a moment for y'all. Bam!
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're seeing the Testament. I like this. I was watching this earlier before the stream started, and this was looking like a pretty well-developed Testament, too. There's a lot of fun trickery you can do with this character. New, I think a character that is going to require a lot of development over time. A lot of tricky tools in their toolbox. But I saw a lot of it being applied in a lot of fun ways. You can do a lot of cool things with the teleport specifically that I saw coming out earlier, and I don't know. I'm a big fan of Testament. I'm not playing them myself, but I think they have a lot of room for expressive play.
Yeah, definitely a character that seems like they're pretty open-ended in terms of the ways that you can consume things. And it's another character not dissimilar to Happy Chaos, where you have resources which allow you to spend them in different ways and are having you make these decisions. Like, how do you consume the Stain? How do you consume the Succubus? Is that, like, are you teleporting to it, or are you, throwing the Raven to apply the Stain? Like, how do you want to play? And you can structure your approach to the matchup in that way. And we can see here, Gorgovitch is electing to play a much more mid-range focused game and just kind of pester Docbach and keep them stuck in the corner. Finding the back throw here, does Docbach Garuda into walk up? Okay, a lot of respect. We have the down back, blocks through the Heat Knuckle.
Meteor expenditure, trying to just keep pressure going with Garuda plus frames. Ooh, Heat Knuckle doesn't land, gives a little bit of space. Aerial Fireball doesn't really do it either. Stain State is applied, going to be able to keep pressure rolling with any straight hit. Big buttons on the slashes and heavy slashes. Keep space under control. Keep Gorgovitch in the driver's seat. And we're seeing slide head coming through. Easy way to get space. Doesn't mash out quite in time. Garuda keeping the plus frames. Backdash on the pot buster. We've seen that setup out of Docbach a lot of times in this bracket already. Gorgovitch maybe finding a read there.
Oh, interesting. Gorgovitch went for the call-out on the burst with the regular jump, but Docbach actually waiting for the burst bait to come out and then bursting defensively immediately afterwards. Reversal super keeps Gorgovitch safe, still has burst on deck, uses the Stain teleport, or the Succubus teleport rather, to get the position switch.
Gold burst. Testament uses meter really well. That one super is disturbingly plus on block. We saw that come into play earlier. Throw punish on the jump in is going to reverse his momentum though. Looking for the timing on the throw. Okay, up backing, try and get some space with the faultless defense. 6P out of Testament is an egregious button. Teleport in.
Oh, manages to use the plus frames generated off of the Stain to go in and get another low tick. And just pestering Docbach down. Had FD'd too, but it looked as though Docbach must have let go just at the last second there. 2 games to 1 here on the side of Gorgovitch.
And so what I was seeing a lot earlier out of a lot of players down there in the pools was that the Stain State pop is a way for Testament to maintain pressure when usually the pressure structure wouldn't allow it. And that is something I don't think was being properly respected throughout the entire player base that we have here today. We saw here that a little bit of not keeping track of that Stain State is, I think, what happened there at that very end. Getting that big ol' button into a pop, not realizing that that means it's still Testament's turn, allows space for another button follow-up to close that round out.
Yeah, and it's definitely Testament's the newest character to the title, as well as landing in a spot when I think players that are being conscientious of the meta are worried about finding answers to certain threats.
Yes.
You know, you were talking earlier about, Geo as an answer to Nago, who is one of the problem characters. Happy Chaos, another problem character. Ram, another problem character. Leo. I don't know that Testament is necessarily on a lot of people's radar.
Right. Yeah, because there's not a lot of high-level representation for Testament yet. Not a lot of visibility into who's trying to push the character.
Right.
And so once a character gets some attention, gets some development, gets a little bit of time to shine, then you can say, okay, that character is a threat or not. Yeah. So far, we don't really have a ton of data on Testament's power yet. We have a lot of people suggesting they're probably toward the lower half of the bracket, on the lower half of the cast.
Sure.
I think that's probably accurate. But you still have to know what a character is capable of fully before you can start feeling the need to develop counterplay.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said that even being in the sort of back half of the meta, I feel like as much as people complain about the top tier strength in this title,
it's still a guilty gear
around
game.
like
Everyone's still busted.
Yeah, it's like your worst two characters are Anji and Faust. And if
They will
Faust
rob you
gets
blind.
If a good Faust player gets good RNG, you will still get smoked.
Yeah.
And overwhelmingly, like the rest of the cast, I think we were talking with someone earlier, and it's like the really top tier of this game is there's like 3 S tier characters, and then like another 3 or 4 S minus characters. That's
and then
half
everyone
the
else.
roster.
Yeah.
Like half the roster is like very transparently tournament viable at a top level.
Yeah. And everyone else, with the possible exceptions of Faust and Anji, who may need some work or some secondaries, is also viable, even if they're not going to be competitive mainstays.
Yeah.
Like Kai, who we're seeing coming out from LuckyD, has plenty of representation at the top level.
Yeah, and I love
Eno too, between like Diaphone and Daru.
Yeah, yeah.
Dawn, who we just saw win Texas Showdown.
Yeah. You know, that was going to be the other one, a great example. One of the cool things I like about Kai is, like, Kai is a character that I feel like there is some individual expression to the character compared to maybe some of the rest of the roster. Like, you look at a Kizzy K Kai, where it's so footsie-centric. It's so, like...
Confirms everywhere.
It's like they're playing Third Strike, 2S into Ride the Lightning, just everywhere.
Then you have LuckyD, who plays Dalsum Kai.
Sure, or Flash Metroid.
Yes.
Like, Flash Metroid's Kai is nothing like Kizzy K's Kai.
Now that said, we are seeing LuckyD here getting a pretty solid start to the set. Very convincing round 1 of this first game. Going to see what kind of adaptations come out of JMD, if any are required yet. Still early in the set, so plenty of time to make something happen. Already getting to the corner.
Oh, no.
Good whiff punish on that throw whiffing.
Oh, 2D, we actually didn't follow up with the H fireball. It looks like maybe we wanted the dash forward to push closer to the corner. That's an interesting call from LuckyD. The air dash approach from JMD catches the back dash, and he's not ready to block the additional overhead. We're going to cash out the super, but it's not going to kill on the wall break. Positive bonus will be very valuable, though.
Yellow RC spent. Makes a lot of sense. If Eno gets on top of you, you guess for your life. And if you guess wrong, then, well, you know, this kind of thing happens. One apiece.
I think the thing that Eno can struggle with in this game is the same thing that I criticize against Milia, which is you're a super oppressive mixed machine that'll make somebody block for days. The problem is it takes you like 4 hits on a good day to kill someone with like real good starters, and then a character like Saul or Nago is killing you in 2 hits anyway. And for certain problem matchups, the fact that your opponent gets more opportunities to guess can be a real big problem. PRC keeps LuckyD safe, and the early JS establishes that screen control, but we're seeing the 6P representation from JMD to dissuade LuckyD from trying to control this gear space, but he did not respect the plus frames on the 6K. The trade works out for JMD, though, closing out game 1.
There were a couple interesting interactions there while you and I were on our soliloquies. Stroke going under Kai's space control buttons and slash and far slash and heavy slash is a big deal here if you can get a read on LuckyD's time. Being able to skip all of those footsies and get straight to the matter of what makes Eno so oppressive is a big, big deal. That's something we didn't see represented in the last one either, which was the DP coming out of Kai.
Yeah.
Eno's pressure is heavily based around mixing you up out of Oki. And if you can find a way out of that, that's a really big feather in your hat.
The 2P mash earns LuckyD a little bit of space on the screen, so the party has started. It's not quite party time. That's waiting up in Grands. 2P mash from JMD earns them some space, and the counter hit on the close normal there is going to close out the round on a big hit confirm.
I'm still laughing to myself about that party time joke. That was good.
Okay.
Chemical Love?
Yeah, we hadn't seen Chemical Love represented a whole lot.
That's a new one. It's a good poke. It helps get some space control, which is weirdly relevant in this matchup. Usually, Eno's not too concerned about trying to keep you out. But in this case, if you want to play footsies, then Eno can use that Chemical Love as a way to punish you for any missteps in footsies and try and get a little bit of momentum of their own going.
Okay, LuckyD goes for something of a cheeky setup there, but catches the forward dash. Oh no, the burst gets not quite baited. The reversal super coming out from JMD. LuckyD has really done nothing to adjust around the reversal timing of JMD, but
Spending the burst! You're going into the next round, last round of the match, and you just threw away your burst on a whiff that you thought you might get the round. I disagree with that. 6P though, that's a good thing.
LuckyD's really using that 5K. Kai 5K is so good, and yeah, you're exactly right. The stroke, navigating around those tools, stealing the corner position, getting out that H fireball, applying the shock state, wants to go to the air, but the back throw from JMD gives JMD the advantageous corner position as the command grab, but LuckyD meets it with Ride the Lightning. What is that interaction? Mine's better. That's
Scramble.
Lord.
Double overhead gets bat out of the air with the 5P. Scramble again, throw gets teched. Looking for footsies here. Counter hit doesn't really convert into anything, but does give you very safe approach. 5D, we're going in the air. This isn't going to kill, but it's going to be real close. Hard knockdown.
Yeah, this is a one-touch game. Shock State is on the 5D tap once again. I don't know what JMD did, but it was not block. We are one game apiece.
That was the weirdest interaction. We got Wake Up Ride the Lightning going up against a command throw super
that has the fireball follow-up.
Exactly.
And that was it. Like, the invincibility frames went in JMD's favor just by way of the fact that the projectiles came after.
Yeah. Guilty Gear's weird. I love it. This game is sick.
I'm glad we're seeing more Ino. Ino is a really cool character, and I watched the story mode.
Yeah, me too. We're nerds. It's fine.
And her character, I think, is really dope. Like, just where she is in terms of her character arc in this game. Her theme is, like, in the top 3 themes in this game.
I buy that. All right, one apiece, going back into it. Gold burst early in the round. Ino makes really good use of meter. Burst gets spent from LuckyD as well. Adaptation, we saw the stroke going under LuckyD's tools in the first 2 games. LuckyD's ready to respond to that now. Gets the counter hit, gets Ino back in the corner, fought out overall, but still, I love to see adaptations mid-set.
Oh, LuckyD tries to get a little bit cheeky and gets met by JMD's 6P. Empty into the command grab.
Oh, the forbidden Oki. That's going to be a good chunk of damage. DP has been represented, but not overly so. These two are just throwing meter.
Oh my
LuckyD
God.
pressed the button.
Is JMD ever out of meter?
I don't think so. That's like, what, 5 specials in the last 2 rounds? I love it. Challenge with the 2P.
The 5K and the 2D as footsie tools from LuckyD do such a good job of dissuading that forward movement. And we're seeing he's trying to pick different spots to play around stroke. Like, you've commented about how big a deal stroke was in terms of stalling the 5S and the 5H. And we're seeing Dan is specifically picking different spots. What a whiff punish on the dive kick!
That was heads up play. I do want to say JMD not going for the burst at the end of the round this time, learning from mistakes.
Yeah, JMD's an old at gear, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
JMD was playing like definitely comfortable enough to understand.
Won the
that
extra
you don't-
bracket.
Yeah, you don't want to. Knows not to Cali burst, but the dive kick getting whiff punished again. LuckyD's Street Fighter fundamentals coming out to play here.
6P is a good challenge. That fireball in the heavy version does take a while to get going. Saying, you know what, I think you're going to go for this as you have every other time. I'm willing to try and do something about that. One touch
I knew
game,
the
though.
throw was coming. That smelled like throws in here.
I mean, he is playing Kai. Kai is a grappler.
I don't
Fight me, chat. Fight me.
So I did see the sort of the grappler alignment chart showed up on Twitter the other day.
Yes.
But I did not see, there wasn't a doesn't have a command grab option.
That is a good point.
Which actually makes you ontologically evil on the grappler alignment chart. There's like good, neutral, evil. If we're adding a 4th row, it has to be like ontologically evil.
You know,
And that's what you are. You are the Tiamat of the grappler alignment chart.
You ever have a moment when you just realize someone is cut of the same cloth?
There we go.
All right.
We'll talk D&D after.
Yeah, we will. Getting into this game once again, though. Pretty even to start off, I say, right as LuckyD finds a way to get some momentum. Burst available. We have seen lots of bursts just to regain screen position.
Yeah.
Okay, I like the jump cancel there. That's new.
I do want to call out something. You can see how more of JMD's 6Ps are whiffing because Dan has gotten a sense for where he had been overextending and running into the 6P and is now taking that extra little bit of time to wait. He's just tightened up his play around what JMD is bringing to the table. And that's an experience that you can tell, like LuckyD's been competing since longer than I have been in the community.
Longer than
was
Kenny's been alive by
Yes.
twice-fold.
And that's the type of experience that comes with playing games at this level for that long. Dive kick, going for the additional overhead, we get the screen position switch. That is going to connect in the air. Goes for the command grab. I sniffed that coming. You look down as like there's a little bit of extra bar. It will kill, closes out the round on the side of JMD.
I have absolutely loved JMD's meter usage this set. Being willing to just send it when LuckyD's been playing so patiently, very, very measured play. It's something we've come to expect out of LuckyD. That's kind of his signature, is very concerted. If you ever hear him playing, he really smacks the hell out of his buttons.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because he's very deliberate with what he's doing. And JMD is being equally deliberate, but on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, right? There's patient deliberate, and then there's YOLO deliberate. And I really love watching the two of them go at it with their different styles.
Oh, the arc actually catches as an anti-air, and the JP manages to just barely snake over it. We blocked the...
It's a guard crush.
Yeah, that it is. Nice. JMD closing it out. It's 2-2 to make it up into the 4th place match. This is to make top 4.
Okay, stroke. Gold burst after the stroke. We've seen plenty of follow-ups out of Eno that have a little bit of a gap after that comes through as an evasive move. Another adaptation coming out of LuckyD.
Oh, the 2K actually works to low profile the extra hit from the little short hop and earns LuckyD a little bit of space, but the counter hit starter is going to be big damage and big corner carry. The command grab lands again!
Super! And that makes so much sense as an option to represent. Eno is known as the high-low mix-up Oki. If you're throwing an empty jump super into the mix too, there's so many layers here between these two players.
Oh, this is actually big damage. I'm not sure if that was a drop or like a deliberate reset so that he would be able to kill on the next hit without resetting, but it does not ultimately matter as JMC closes out the round and sitting now on set point to move up into the loser semis.
Got one more to go. Okay, burst for screen position.
I might have saved that burst for the subsequent hit.
It is a little early. I think I agree with that. Okay, 2H is the counter hit. Wonder what JMD was looking for there. Throw coming through. Do it again. Throw another throw. No, okay, the 5D tap does get the conversion. Meter expenditure there for not a lot of damage, though. Gets the positive bonus.
Guard break, or guard crush rather, into the low short. Now the party is starting, has the bar to keep the DP safe, blocks the additional hit, does JMD, but the dive kick gets blocked at an disadvantageous position, and we are going to the last round.
Duel 3, let's go. Who's gonna take this gold burst
my
out
God.
of the middle of the map?
JMD is so hungry to spend this bar. And you gotta spend money to make money.
It's been working so well all set. Why not keep it going? Dive kick, kind of trying to get the space in. 6P is going to keep them out, though. We're seeing throws.
All right.
Another meter expenditure in favor of JMD. Stun Dipper lands. Had the meter to stay safe. 5D tap into a conversion. Wall break positive bonus. No!
Yeah, we wait. Dan is making the deliberate decision to not get the wall break unless he knows it's going to kill, and it pays off with the 5D. LuckyD takes it 3-2 over JMD to move up into the loser semifinals.
Goes for the conscious pressure reset. Goes for the represented but not often represented 5D in this match. We saw it a couple times for sure. LuckyD likes to go for that tap dust into the
Red
meter
RC,
expenditure.
yeah.
But holding it this time, it's not as represented as just the tap.
But you know what,
love that choice.
What else is great about it is like, that's like just tapping 5D there without bar doesn't kill.
Right.
Holding it that extra little bit does.
Yes.
And that little bit of hesitation from JMD on the back foot there cost everything. Just what a great call. And the systemic adaptations that Dan was making in the face of what JMD was doing. And I'm going to have to, somebody needs to check this PlayStation because I don't understand how JMD had so much meter all the time to bust out that super.
Yeah, we saw gold burst after gold burst.
Yeah.
and always early in the round is the important part to me, because Gold Burst halfway through a round can get a lot of work done. Absolutely. It's really good to have that meter to expend to close a round out. Using it consistently early in the round means you have more options to open your opponent up, more options to run your game.
Yeah.
And it converted so well, so frequently.
Yeah. And what I think is really interesting, and maybe it's less in terms of that matchup or even these characters, maybe even not even necessarily these players, but I think just about the state of this game in general is like the sort of macroeconomics of those decisions that we saw. Both of them very long-term tournament vets, and like you say, JMD aggressively using Burst to keep these resources going his way, and LuckyD consistently, conscientiously playing around wall breaks to avoid resetting to neutral and maximize his choices after, is something that we're seeing more and more of over the lifespan of this game. Different characters that would rather not get the wall break, even if it means getting positive bonus, in favor of, like, nah, I'm just going to keep the corner anyway.
Ino is one of the most egregious examples that actually a lot of wall slump routes have been developed for Ino, specifically because her win condition is mixing you up on Oki. And you basically just got to hold that pressure, hope you guess right, hope you don't blow up. The wall slump means you get to keep yourself in your win condition longer and longer and longer.
Yeah. Did you see somebody found crazy wall slump tech with Zato, where off the wall slump you put up a pose and it lets you left-right in the corner?
It's disgusting.
It's gross. And like, Zato didn't need that.
No, Zato doesn't need most things Zato has. Then again, most Guilty Gear characters don't need what they have, and that's what makes Guilty Gear great.
We should give some of those to Anji.
As an Anji Baiken co-main, please
I'm sorry.
do. Okay, look, I love my weeb characters. They do a lot of fun things. They just don't do a lot of fun things well all the time. I signed up for this life. I'm okay with it. But you know what I'm more okay with? Merkilo versus LuckyD.
Losers semifinals match. The winner of this plays Kenny in the losers finals, which is already sort of a rare sentence to stay at our tournaments.
Yeah.
With how often Kenny ends up there in the winner side of Grands. Burst coming out early from LuckyD and whiffing in a way that we saw coming out from Merkilo earlier as well. Dive kick gets blocked, respects the plus frames after. Nice 6P.
6P with a weird interaction getting into the corner. Okay, saving the burst for a second. Does let it get baited. Does still expend it, though. I like the patience. Cross-up coming up. This should be able to kill. Yeah, there we go. Super.
With the super, that is
the meter. All right, so this is, I think, a really interesting matchup, in my opinion. They're both unapologetically strike-throw characters.
Yeah.
With some varied, subtle differences between the two of them, right? Giovanna, a little bit faster, a little bit better tools to open you up. Kai, a little bit better spacing tools, a little bit more varied of a toolkit, including things like fireballs.
And I think he plays defensively better, like having a proper reversal. You know, the different, just the tools that he has, the function of the different dash, like it. I think he can fit an all-around role a little bit more. It's like going from a Shoto to Candy. It's like, they're both playing a not dissimilar game, but they're playing that game so differently.
Right.
And it really highlights the granularity that you have in fighting games.
I agree. Game one going pretty quickly in favor of Merkilo. LuckyD off to an early start in this one, though. Gold Burst coming through. I like the Gold Burst usage throughout this bracket, actually. That's just a really fun mechanic that I love seeing it get some use, some screen time.
Yeah. It's, I mean, especially because I think there's a lot of spots and a lot of matchups where Gold Burst is the way that you want to do it, because you just get way more resources out of it. The fact that it earned him that YRC.
Yeah, so another funny thing we just saw, Geo 2D goes under fireballs.
Yes.
And so 2D into 2D is a very valid thing. Kai is used to being able to follow the fireball in as a way to start pressure. If you don't have that option available because it just got evaded, then if you're autopiloting your approach anyway, you're probably going to get clipped.
Yeah. Merkilo trying to make a speed run of this loser semifinals right now, up around now in game two, in the time that it took for us to extrapolate the decision-making behind Gold Burst, makes the 5D whiff. That was an interesting call from LuckyD. I don't know why he would have picked that choice there. And you can see that he's kind of really struggling to find the spot to stick out the anti-airs to stall Merkilo's aerial-based approach.
All right. LuckyD got that burst back. Spends meter to convert the stun dipper. Very stable combo route. That one's way, way early discovery, but still very relevant. Gotta love a B&B.
Oh. Smoked by the air dive kick. LuckyD still with burst. Immediately burns it for the gold burst. Stun dipper into the Red RC, but wow, before I can even narrate what happened, Merkilo has burst and reset back to neutral, but these 5D taps once again goes for the jump cancel into the JK. You thought you could get out, you could not. LuckyD starting to control this air just above Merkilo's head a little bit better, and I think that's the thing that you need to do a little bit more actively. Ground-based air-to-airs are not working.
And that gold burst situation was so weird too. The dive kick left enough space that there wasn't enough time to double dash to get into meaty territory. Now we see LuckyD taking the corner again. Enough meter from both sides to get some expenditure. Yep, LuckyD sends it right there. Wall break, positive bonus. Geo's with a full bar though. Reset to neutral with a full bar is a dangerous position to be in. 2D. Blue RC for the mix-up goes overhead. Good block on LuckyD though. Red RC is going to convert into a wall break. Merkilo just making an absolute slaughter of this set so far. 2-0 already. LuckyD going to have to find some kind of adaptation to make here. I like the gold burst adaptation last time.
Yeah, I'm going to cut in right here and just say that LuckyD, I think the biggest thing is like this flow right here. Merkilo has his offense done really well with the burst.
All right, we see pressure coming out from Giovanna once again. That 2D we were talking about has such enormous range. It's pretty easy to go ahead and throw that out as a neutral tool. Gets a lot of good use as a counter hit fishing tool. Dash up, tick throw. 1 round away. Merkilo gets up into the next round, go into the losers finals.
Yeah, this is looking like a really convincing win right now for Merkilo if it's coming up. But LuckyD getting his game started right here with the Fireball Oki. Gonna put a little bit of pressure, gets a spacing game here. And LuckyD trying to play this containment game right now with the meter, spends it and burst out. I like that.
You see dash up into the slash coming from Merkilo. Safe jump.
Yeah, good neutral jump right here from LuckyD, but couldn't get a full convert right here. But the Oki off the Fireball. Gonna walk him down the corner, fight some real estate.
Ooh, what a good challenge. Started challenging that heavy Fireball right in Merkilo's face. Merkilo says, I don't think so. Dash up, low buttons to make sure you get the evasion. Jumping over the Fireball, that's going to be a full conversion. Is that enough to break the wall? Not quite. Couldn't catch it on the falling down. Gold burst, the one last bastion for LuckyD. Spends that meter, doesn't get the full conversion, jumps the combo. Purple RC run up, doesn't go for the throw.
Dan is so frantic right now, finding these 2P matches with the 2S just barely closing out the round. But you could see LuckyD was in full scramble mode in that moment.
Absolutely.
And his tournament life is resting on this, right? In the top 4, you definitely want to have the happiness of that top 3 finish, especially with gear. You know, it's not principally LuckyD's game, right?
Yeah, being able to show that you got what it takes to make it is phenomenal, but the DP does get punished. I don't think that's optimal, but that's fine. Safe jump into the tick throw. Meter gets expended. I think that's enough with the unskilled wall damage. Yes, it is. Merkilo going into losers finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think Merkilo is just a little bit more learned with this game, and they play that very similar style, but with Merkilo having that bit more experience, obviously speaking to a lot, and I still feel like LuckyD just sort of struggled to find
footing.
The right way. Yeah, the right way to everything that we saw and really highlighted as a great pro in his favor in the JMD match, making those adaptations around where JMD was counter poking, finding different ways to anti-air and slow the game down and keep it grounded. Never found the opportunity to do that here against Merkilo. Even a lot of these, like, Merkilo likes to go for the ambiguously spaced instant overhead that may or may not cross up immediately into the air flip kick. And if it does cross up, it has this tendency to, like, go away and reset to neutral. And if you go for like a YRC or a burst or even a DP, it ends up whiffing and you end up getting caught out. It's this really weird nebulous space thing that Merkilo brings out that I'm not even 100% convinced that it's on purpose because like it is such a weird thing that I don't see represented overwhelmingly often that I'm like, are you doing this on purpose, or is this just like...
The dive kick super is often used just as a pressure reset tool because it is plus on block.
Right.
So being able to throw that out and then give yourself that animation, just a quick flash to give yourself a breath, realign yourself, is just that moment's edge over your opponent. Because you know that moment for yourself to take a breath is coming. Your opponent doesn't.
Right.
And so Geo thrives off of that sort of interaction. Right. Geo has speed on her side.
She does.
And a lot of strike throw mix is predicated off of being able to outthink and think faster than your opponent.
Sure. Yeah, so with that, Merkilo gets the dub, moves up to losers finals against Kenny, and I don't know that Kenny picks Happy Chaos here.
No.
Especially because I think Geo is a character who can fight Happy Chaos very effectively. Because, with Happy Chaos, especially when Happy Chaos is really being operated at the level that we associate with him at the highest level, you really only get away with like tap dash block, right? It's MK style stuff.
Yep.
But Geo's dash has so much momentum front loaded on it. She closes that space so effectively. Yeah. And that's something that helps her to sort of strive in that style, as well as the fact that when she does get into that, it wasn't supposed to be a pun.
Doesn't mean I didn't hear it.
Fair enough. But then as well as the fact that, like you keep saying, she plays this very fast-paced strike throw game. And unlike some other characters that I've highlighted who really need to blow you up a bunch of times, Geo does have that really explosive damage potential.
All right.
We do see the Gold Lewis coming out instead from Kenny, which is the pick that I would have anticipated.
I agree. And there actually is one important thing that we ought to mention before we get into this match, and that is the match of Reno. This is the second to last match of the night. We got losers finals, and up in the winners finals, or winners side, we got one more match after this. So if you want to contribute to the pot, help pay out all these players, type !match of Reno in the chat. Do it now, do it big.
That 2K check blowing up the Behemoth Typhoon.
Who would have ever thought Gold Lewis air to air would beat out Giovanna? I love that.
Oh, interesting. They have to trade PRCs to keep themselves safe. And there's that 2P mash again. Here's going to be the question. How good a job does Merkilo do of dissuading the 2P mash? And oh my god, covered both sides.
I love the way Merkilo played around the drone there. That was a level 3 drone that Gold Lewis can try and follow in to get that approach going. Did jump over that, as well as contain the spacing coming out of Kenny. Doesn't really matter though, Gold Lewis still got to run his game, still got to run that round. Now we got some corner pressure coming out from Merkilo here though. The
oh my god.
The Typhoon.
But
cross up.
The spiral arrow was plus. And Kenny mashed. But Merkilo backed off. Merkilo is...
Kenny mashed a Behemoth Typhoon.
But there was a 2P first. And here's my thing. And I said this earlier. No one establishes their layer 1 well enough against Kenny.
Yes.
Everyone is like, they'll respect it. No. He's 12 years old. They don't respect anything. I'm sure he doesn't respect his bedtime.
That's really true. But yeah, no, you're completely right that like the things that you assume are going to work, you have to establish that they work first.
Right.
You have to represent the threat before you can assume the threat will be respected.
It's, you know what it is? I think it's very easy. You start to play at a certain level. Merkilo firmly in the driver's seat here. 2D counter hit, and look at that. Just tightened up the game. But once you start to play the game at a certain level, there's this like implicit contract that you'll respect the frames, right?
It's the metagame.
And Kenny is so fundamentally like, I don't care.
Yeah.
He knows. It's like, you can make the conscious decision to not care. What a trade!
That interaction, the air-to-air, doing it again. We're going to get a wall break here. I think Gold Lewis's guts should manage to... No, that is going to be a round in favor of Merkilo. Do it again. You know what? I respect the choice.
Oh, Gold Burst comes out from Kenny, so we send out the drone, going in behind the drone with the strength of all this bar. Okay, smart back throw, and it keeps the corner position.
Down the system!
Oh, is that a safe jump? Is he safe? No, he's not.
That's so much damage. Gold Lewis gets in for free. 2D counter hit. Again, we've seen that just really, really get a lot done. That Behemoth Typhoon, that, what is it? 268 does have a blind spot right in front of him. It cannot hit there, so Kenny has to use the PRC, does so, maintains spacing, maintains pressure in the round, ends up converting. It's a good set so far.
Yeah, and it's like, Merkilo, Merkilo, every time he surrenders space, he's backing off. It's like he's trying to play shimmies, but Kenny doesn't care. Manages to blow up the commitment to the 2P Behemoth Typhoon there, and you can see Merkilo is very actively playing a much tighter game here. Blue RC sets up the fuzzy setup, the overhead connects. How are we going to keep it close this time? Reversal super through the block string, going to be big damage.
We do still have burst available, maintains that.
Oh, just barely doesn't get to whiff punish it, and that's with Geo movement.
Geo has meter though. Doesn't even matter. Jump in, caught, not blocking. Kenny, is that 2-0?
That is 2-0 for Kenny. And I mean, Merkilo's playing around the Abare jab mashing decently well, but I think the fact that, I mean, Kenny's damage opportunities are just that much more explosive on Gold Lewis's side. Finding the 6P, Kenny's making the adjustments, right? We're not seeing the 2P mash because Merkilo's going to the air to dissuade it. So Kenny has made the adjustment to the 6P as the answer instead. And going to this super, so much damage, getting this big wall break. Merkilo had better not burst. Gets thrown for it, but saves the burst to go to the next round. Kenny's still with the burst as well. So not really an economic lead here on Merkilo's favor. And his tournament life rests here, 5K check. Starts his offense once again.
I'm looking for the cross-up. There it is. Kenny loves to go for the cross-up to get out of pressure in the corner. Even if you're just sort of hinting that you want to push him over there, he is very willing to go for the cross-up immediately. The dive kick super coming out for Merkilo, going to break the wall. Positive bonus. Gets to approach. Safe jump into a throw. OTG.
Nice.
Brings the rounds to even. Merkilo needs this to stay alive in the tournament if he wants to make it into that grand finals. Trade is still in favor of Gold Lewis.
I love that burst.
I do
Great
too.
Momentum burst from Kenny, and he's got this strong corner position. Gold burst gets blocked on Merkilo's side, so now he needs to earn this without even the free meter, but a nice big confirm here with massive corner carry. The 2P
Abare has the pressure with the drone. YRC is going to get space back, win for the dust, but it got blocked. One more touch.
It was the 2P mash. It didn't get blocked. He believed that he had earned Kenny's respect, and Kenny is disrespecting him. Look at all this 2P. I swear to God he hears me.
Kenny taking it 3-0 over Merkilo, going for the run back in grand finals. Do we see the happy chaos again?
I don't imagine so. I did. I knew you heard me say it. Kenny just walks up, leans over to me and said, I heard you say 2P.
We did, and it worked. I mean, what can I say? The boy got away with, honestly, kind of murder off of the back of tactically applying 2P.
But that's the thing, right? It's like, Kenny is, it's weird to say it about such a young player, but like he actually, there's a very clear apt.
He's smart about the game.
Yeah. When the 2P mash is coming out, there's a reason that there's terms for intelligent 2P mashing.
Yes.
Right? It's like the second 2P was getting blown up, started cycling over to a 6P. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not like, and now I'm going to mash out a thing. It's like, nope, this is a spot where I'm going to make you be honest. And if you're not honest, you're going to get blown up for it. And it still comes back to that, you need to earn your layer 1. A lot of people abide by that social contract. When people say frame data is a social construct, what they mean is the way that people play around the game numerically is based on an unwritten contract that I know the numbers and you know the numbers.
We're
and
both
we're both going to
them.
care about the numbers. But at any point, someone can just decide that the numbers don't matter. And if you aren't doing a good enough job to enforce the reason that those numbers matter, then you're not going to get it. You know what other numbers matter is the Matcherino numbers. This is going to be the grand finals, which means y'all only have a little bit more time to hit that exclamation Matcherino and claim those codes so that these players can get paid out at the end of it. It is the Gold Lewis loading in for this grand finals here from Kenny, having to make the 2 3 out of 5 sets to take it over PartyTime.
And you know what? What I'm looking for here in this set is the round start. We have seen PartyTime get insane conversions and damage off of round start RPS. Gold Lewis has okay but not amazing round start options. Backdashing is a perfectly viable one. I like that choice. Stay defensive. You're not going to beat out Nagori Yuki on round start. Take your space, take your opportunities with your equally egregiously large moves.
Yeah, I think this is a character matchup that Kenny has actually remarked about as well. I think he struggles with Nagos. And I know the matchup probably seems difficult. And then you speak to Kenny's tendencies, right? We're talking about the reversal super coming out from Party Time. Let's get the party going.
What is going to be the approach? Hard Knockdown offers a lot of space. 2H. We saw a lot of, in the past, good use of the command throw coming out of Party Time as well. Haven't seen it represented yet. That's just fine. Just want to see how we can track that. Kenny managing to find his way in off the back of aerial BTs. The PRC almost gets him the round, but the minigun on the whiff is going to be enough to close that one out. The minigun is an option we don't see out of Kenny very often. He prefers to use the security level on the drone. Makes a lot of sense. That's usually the preferred option. Yeah. But representing the threat in a match where someone like Nagoriyuki can't close distance that well without the drawback of the blood expenditure, that does matter.
See, I think what that was I think that was a call around just how little life was left on Party Time. It may have just been a choice for chip damage.
Yep, if you don't have D, you die.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of chip damage, Behemoth Typhoon will get things done in that regard as well.
The 5K check. Another thing is, like, Party Time had been using these 2Hs really effectively, but Kenny is playing much more grounded around the threat of the 2H and choosing a little bit better when to navigate and go in. Finding the throw. Kenny still has burst here, too, so I have to assume that if Party Time gets anything started, we're going to see the momentum burst to keep this going. Jesus, when does it end?
Party Time even did such a good job of reacting to the overheads. This might be death, though. The 2H on the counter hit is a big deal. Not quite enough.
The 2P mash!
2P does it again. Kenny already looking stronger than in the first time these two met the top half of the bracket.
Yeah, I think Party Time played hungry with that command dash, wanting to go in and open up the strike throw off close slash, but you didn't need much, right? You literally just could have sat there and gone for like 2S if they don't jump, 2H if they do.
Nagoriyuki decided to Fukio forward. Kenny said, I understand Fukio has recovery time. There is a gap in between Fukio and doing literally anything else. That's BT time. That's my party time. Behemoth Typhoon pressure coming out again, mixing up with the throws. Going low this time. Nice conversion.
Party Time is getting absolutely blended right now. The second Behemoth Typhoon, I give you one, I give you two. We don't got the bar for the good wall break, but we will just pop the wall here. This is such a healthy life lead. Command dash back into the Rekka string here for Party Time. Oh, wow. Actually stalls that dash a little bit to find the 2H, but it's too little, too late.
JD closes it out in favor of Kenny. This is 2-0 and 2-0 quick. Kenny is feeling it right now.
Has to find something. It looks like Kenny's controller is low battery or something, so we're going to have to stabilize a little bit there. But 2 games up in pretty quick fashion, and I don't know if this is a question of being warm or if Kenny took the time to think about what Party Time was bringing to the table, but the intensity that we saw out of Party Time in winners and how well it seemed that he was able to just really run away with it and run over Kenny in a way that we don't see happen a lot around here is such a departure, a complete inversion. It's like reading manga that was localized in the 90s versus now.
I'm going to take your word for that
one. Because they flip it on the
one.
x-axis.
Yeah.
Because they used to.
Yeah, that's true.
That's such an esoteric reference, it doesn't even land. But we're back in character select. Is this Party Time? I know we're in character select because Kenny's looking at controllers, but Party Time is navigating around on the screen here.
So one thing that I think was relatively interesting in those 2 games is the mandatory use of meter on faultless defense for both of these players.
Yeah.
We saw precious little meter expenditure on supers and... Can you switch on a win?
Kenny is
no, that's true. Kenny was the one who took that. Okay, I kind of like the chip. That is very, very different style than the Nago. You might get some mental plus frames off of going for something completely off the wall, but Gold Lewis, we've all seen it on Twitter, we've all seen it on Reddit, can demolish Chip. Chip has no guts, no health, no defense other than you can't hit me, you can't hit me, I'm a fly on the wall, you can't hit me.
Like, all I'm thinking is, like, yeah, he's a fly on the wall, but Gold Lewis is swinging a whole ass coffin around on the screen. Like, his hitboxes are pretty big.
Yes, they are.
And they cover a really wide arc.
Is it bad that I'm almost hoping for like a clone BTS kill? Those are hype. I mean, I wouldn't ill wish anybody in our bracket, but like if it were to happen, okay, getting a counter hit is already a good start.
Right, the blender is starting, but we mistime our meaty, and just like that, Kenny gets to get the party started. An early DP momentum burst coming out from Kenny. The drone keeps him safe on the trade, actually more than safe on the trade.
Alpha Blade, Alpha Blade, Alpha Blade. No, okay. Ooh, 2P checked the unreactable overhead. No, it is reactable, but the unexpected overhead. Interesting combo routes, but they're working. Okay, we're resetting to neutral. I'm not sure about that. I think it's probably fine. Puts himself in the corner, meter expenditure. Okay, I like this adaptation so far. Kenny's probably going to need a little bit of time to get used to the pace that Chip demands you react. There it is. We've already seen the adaptation.
Yeah, and making this pick when you're down 2 games in the first set of grands, like you have a set to play with. I wonder whether Chip is like an old main that he's switching over to, or if he's like had a pocket chip the whole time. It's just, I'm intrigued at the decision making, but we do find the 2K2D. And you can see Kenny's on the back foot because the offensive structure is so, oh, you might actually be dead.
Down the system, is it enough? Oh, he got the block! Didn't get a full punish though. Enough time for Kenny to FD it.
Oh,
ooh, the PRC to Burt the bait. Burst, bait the burst. There we go. You know what? We got there. BT still enough to take the round for Kenny. Adaptation is being made. We saw him able to jump the command throw. We saw him able to react to the Alpha Blade cross up for defense just like that.
Oh, and
Keep
then look
out
at
on
that.
The BT.
The big hitboxes. Look at this damage.
Are you dead? He has meter.
Are you dead? Are you actually 100 to 0'd? Hold on. Okay,
not quite.
You're not.
You can't hear it. Balance patch popping off.
I'm sorry, all that bar that you thought you had, hold this minigun, the 2P mash, closing it out. Kenny resets the bracket on the chip pick after actually deleting Chip.
That was disgusting. Honest to God, 95% health in one combo. He's running it back though. Grand Finals reset, running the Chip. 6P round start says, I don't think so.
He's being respectful of our time. He doesn't want to pick a character with as much high guts, so that Kenny only needs 2 hits to kill.
I appreciate that. My voice will be very thankful for the choice. Okay,
oh
we see an adaptation here. Going to the skies to try and get around that drone. DP whiff though.
So it's interesting you say that. Kenny's been doing this all day. When Kenny shoots out the drone, it's followed up immediately by an early jump limb to cover the air approach. If you go to the air, he hits you and blows you up. If you don't, the drone covers a jump in and gives him ample frame advantage to start mixing you up.
DP Clash gets some room for Merkilo. Desperately required. Double overhead. Okay, we got a counter hit here. Down the system. Is that going to land? No, that gets blocked. Super in response. This isn't that high a damage super, though.
Yeah.
And Gold Lewis's guts are really high. Doesn't quite do it. Command throw. Merkilo putting up in this set. Party time, you're right. Yeah.
Behemoth Typhoon starts, but we find the 2K2D to open this back up for Party Time, starting to cycle in that 6K.
Good adaptation on the defense coming through for Kenny. FD has to be expended. If you don't, you're going to die. DP, another defensive option. Okay, you know what? It's fine. We got the Boston reset.
So the reason for the reset was Party Time had just gotten the burst back, and I think they were both cognizant of like, all right, you have to burst. But I think Party Time understood that he had to burst, which meant he should not burst. Like, it was one of those moments where the right decision was to not make the right decision.
Right.
And then it led to this really weird, scrambly situation that Kenny ultimately won out on anyway, and we do see the swap back to the Nagoriyuki here on the side of Party Time.
It makes some sense. You had 2 rounds on the Nagoriyuki, give the Chip 2 rounds. It wasn't convincing enough. It did some new things. It definitely showed signs of life. It definitely had some good aspects to it. But if you're more comfortable in the Nagoriyuki, the Chip isn't working anyway. Go ahead and switch back. See what you can get done.
I think the fear for me is, and you called out off rip, that Gold Lewis absolutely destroys Chip once he does get that hit. And that first game that Chip came out, did well, but eventually Kenny made the adaptation around when it was coming. Look at this risk gauge turning all the way up, but Kenny finds the up back in a spot where PartyTime is going to try to play for the command grab. 2H actually gets blown up by the drone anyway. Minigun connects, but it's a level 1 minigun, so we don't get a whole lot out of it.
Yeah, PartyTime was trying to play patient there with his corner pressure, tried going for not a lot of cancels, just do a few well-spaced buttons, try and keep your pressure, but the defense from Kenny was too solid, couldn't open him up. Blood pop. 2K. OTG closes it out. Kenny is looking unstoppable. More and more momentum building up for him. You can switch characters, you can switch tactics, you can play footsies, you can play special cancels. Doesn't matter, I'm here for it one way or the other. First command throw we saw in this set, in the reset.
And look at how little of the mashing we're seeing, because Nago is a character that pumps that risk gauge and plays the frame trap game super well once close slash.
Gold burst.
Gold burst out of Gold Lewis. The security drone comes out. We're nearly in. The 2H comes a little bit too late, but the back throw here from PartyTime ends up huge. Reversal super. I don't think PartyTime did anything. What's gonna happen?
Anything you can do, I can do better. Reversal to fight the reversal. Going back to neutral here. Not gonna be quite enough damage. Both have meter.
I think if PartyTime had just block punished, he would have killed.
Probably, but you know what? That's okay. Down the system does plenty of damage.
Is it? I don't think it's okay. That mistake may be the difference between winning and losing out on this round, and in fact, it will be. JD connects Kenny up 2 games to none.
Just
Why is he getting up? It's only 2, kiddo.
Don't get ahead of yourself.
But like,
you know what? 5 in a row is worth getting excited over.
Sure. PartyTime really threw that away on Super Meets Super.
Okay. Going for the command throw. This is
Slash
going
connects.
to be the last game of the tournament. Patience paying off, throwing in a few more supers, few more command throws than last time.
Why is it always 2? Kenny has been watching, understands this. Gonna let the burst carry into the next round. I have to assume there's no way Kenny wants to spend the burst, which means it's that much more likely that PartyTime is gonna spend the burst.
Punished. Whiff didn't get punished. PartyTime's not quite on point with it yet. Command throw is gonna give him a round though. Okay. Stymie the momentum, get something going for yourself.
DP at round start. PartyTime is making these super aggressive round starts and then like relying on churning the blood gauge up super high, but look at what happens now. Oh, actively playing around the burst bait.
Just needs a little bit more. One more touch will do it for either of these players. Tap 5 dust. Doesn't quite do it. I was wrong on the touch. Needs one more. Blood gauge is still in his favor.
Someone has finally made Kenny respect them.
RC for the overhead. Jump in, empty jump into a throw. BT time. We got meter. Okay, we got the burst. Get me out of there.
2H finds the throw. That's going to close out the round and the game. PartyTime finally ends up on the board.
It's what you said. Finally, Kenny has to respect. Can't use the 2P to mash out of everything, and mixing up whether or not you're going to be patient with big buttons or whether you're going to be aggro with specials and command throws in the corner. Been a big adaptation for PartyTime here in this set.
And you can see that Kenny is kind of struggling to deal with the round start, but gets the cross up into the throw, has this great screen position now. Big counter hit causes PartyTime to burst immediately, but that hunger to go right back to the air is met with an intense 2H. The command grab, we have to PRC again. We are just shy of the blood pop. That was so close. It's going down for real.
He's going to be clear on blood, but the BT pressure is real. Cross up isn't going to land. 2H to try and keep out. JD's trying to approach.
2H
needs to convert this as fully as possible.
He's going to pop blood.
BRC slows down.
The minigun shoot this man.
Just enough damage.
The most American solution to a vampire I've ever seen.
Kenny needs one more.
DP
just
round
one more.
start.
2P. Has to spend meter on FD.
5K check, earns a little bit of space. Does PartyTime? How tight are we going to be able to keep this? Goes for the jump in, keeps it fairly tight. Finds the back throw. Does Kenny after wisely up backing?
Kenny has guessed so well on the last few command grabs.
Oh, so smart. In that same position, the early 2H ended up being huge for PartyTime, so Kenny waits that extra second and is varying his jump timing to blow up these 2Hs. PartyTime is so short on resources here, gets clipped by the 2K to close it out.
That'll do it. Kenny is going to take your Boston Blue Beat offline monthly at Balance Patch Guilty Gear Strive tournament, getting the run back after Party Time took him out from the top side of the bracket after going through Chip, after going through different styles of Nago, after going through the entire losers run. Kenny brings it home.
Just the difference in Kenny's defensive approach in that last round was so crazy. Like, you could see that early 2H had done so much for Party Time. It's like one of your biggest starters that you have. It's the future that Nago players want. It's either you get counter hit by close slash or you get smoked by a 2H. And that extra spot of waiting that little bit after the burst, sending out the drone and not immediately jumping because you had been smoked so many times, is the type of adaptation that you see from players that truly have it. Like, you can't, we talk about the 2P mash, right? We talk, and, you know, it's easy to throw shade at, like, a kid, right? But, like, he knows what the hell he's doing. He's actually engaging with this game.
He's got that killer instinct that you need to have in order to consistently compete at that level. He's got that something, that spark that I am so fond of watching in him. Every time I watch him play, it's just fun. Yeah. It's
just great, and that is going to be that. They are already migrating this setup over to bring you guys the BlazBlue action that I know you tune in to BostonBlueBeat for. But thank you so much for tuning in for this Guilty Gear bracket. It has been a joy to bring it to you. I have been Brad Muse, Lasergician. Thank you for sitting in with me.
It's been a pleasure. Make sure you get the Matcherino going for BlazBlue as well. Keep an eye out for more announcements on future BBB events, including the Beach episode in July. And until then, as the two of us signing off, we're going to hand it off. Thank you so much for joining us.